It is said that life is the art of drawing without the eraser. We now know that the process of creating art can take our life's drawings and add new beauty, peace, and even a new arrangement of otherwise crooked lines. Art for the Journey brings art making and personal engagement to vulnerable individuals and groups, where that creative expression brings solace, well-being, and even healing.
A lot of the people that came to my classes were very similar to me. They were people who were in some kind of a transition in their life, and they wanted to get into art as a kind of a way to help them get through that. People who had experienced divorces, people who had experienced death in their family or illness, who were just going through midlife type transitions, or people who were retiring like I had done. And we began to have all these conversations about what was going on in our lives and how painting was helping us with all of that. It's been well established in research that art making tends to reach parts of us in a special way that maybe we can't reach any other way. And art making can be a healing process.
I believe because we are a human-centered agency, we are a volunteer-driven agency. People come to help with Art for the Journey. They help people that are isolated. They help seniors. They help children that are in urban or underserved school systems. They help veterans living with PTSD. But while they're helping and pouring paint or teaching an art technique, they too are experiencing well-being. This is a really unusual discovery that using art as a medium is a way to bring community together, all ages, all races, and it's a beautiful thing to witness when you see the art class that Art for the Journey brings to various populations.
I believe strongly that there is no health without mental health. Mental health is an important part of our living. So whether we're talking about working with older adults with dementia, or we're talking about children that have a need, by engaging in the arts, it affects how you feel. It affects your emotions, and it has that positive, uplifting aspect to it.
Art for the Journey started their first community program at Virginia Correctional Center for Women in Goochland, where they were brought weekly art instruction and communal engagement to women living socially isolated lives, many of whom have histories of drug addiction and physical and sexual abuse. Art for the Journey's team of artists bring friendship, color, and the joy of creating beautiful art.
From the very first time that I went to the prison, having been a former school teacher, I just loved the energy there and just how thirsty the women were for learning and how grateful they were. And it was just beautiful to watch someone who their hand would shake as they try to draw a simple line with charcoal evolve over months and months to be able to create a beautiful oil painting.
We used to meet in this very small room, and when we, in the last, I guess, year and a half, we were given our own space, because before we were using a classroom and we had to set it up. We really didn't have decent easels, and the women did fine. But when the warden came in and he gave us a beautiful space, it empowered the women, because they realized that what they were doing was important to him, and they actually were a voice. And when he came in after our gala and brought pictures of their artwork, because he attended the Jepson Center Gala, I mean to tell you, that was so empowering to them. Their faces lit up. He gave each of them a photograph of their artwork.
I just have a real heart for the women in prison. So I've been able to see and hear their comments and how much they have gotten out of the art class from, one person in particular that I think of started painting, and she really could only paint shapes on the canvas. She started by painting stars on the canvas. And she was in our class for about 3 years, and then finally she was released. But when she left, she was painting full, beautiful oil paintings and even selling them at our annual gala. And just felt so proud of the fact that people were buying them. And she said to me that in the past, when she was at home and would get bored, she would turn to drugs, specifically heroin. And she was excited for the fact that when she got home, she knew something else she could do that would relieve her boredom. She said, the first thing I'm going to do is go to Michael's and buy art supplies, and when I get bored, I'm going to paint.
People can live behind many kinds of barriers. Dementia and Alzheimer's is affecting a growing percentage of older adults. Art for the Journey offers a special program called Opening Minds Through Art, or OMA, to the elders and families of these diseases. OMA brings young volunteers and older adults together to share creating beautiful pieces of abstract art, personal engagement, and friendship.
Opening Minds Through Art was developed by a gerontologist, and she's also a graphic artist. Her name is Dr. Elizabeth Locon. She developed a program that is person-centered and intergenerational, and basically a non-pharmacological therapy or therapeutic intervention.
OMA is sort of contrary to what we do in senior living in a way, because we focus on comfort, convenience, compensating for all the things that an elder cannot do or cannot do well. OMA does not pay attention to any of that. You can't hear very well, that's okay. You can still do great art. Your fine motor skills aren't very good, that's all right. This is abstract art. You can't not be successful. And I think that's the thing that so impresses me about Opening Minds Through Art and the other programs that they do. They overlook all of these things that we as a culture compensate people for their disabilities and give them an opportunity to shine and be successful.
Because Opening Minds Through Art, or OMA, is centered around serving older adults with dementia or Alzheimer's. Art for the Journey has established a special training program to train and certify staff of assisted living facilities throughout Virginia, and even across the nation.
We've developed a best practice at St. Mary's Woods, and because of that, we have partnered now with Dr. Elizabeth Locon to become a training facility. So far, we have certified 100 individuals across the United States to provide or facilitate the Opening Minds Through Art program in other places. Out of that 100 individuals, we are averaging about 12 individuals that are elders who are impacted. Out of those 12 individuals that are impacted, probably 4 with family members and staff are impacted. So if you do the math, out of those 100 people that we've certified, we figure for this year, about 4,800 individuals totally have been impacted positively by Opening Minds Through Art. We're hoping to expand the program across the state of Virginia.
Delivering art to adults, children, and youth is at the center of Art for the Journey's programs. Their programs for children include art classes at Anna Julia Cooper's Episcopal School in Church Hill and the Carmel School in Ruther Glen. Special after-school programs are provided to underserved children in partnership with the Youth Life Foundation. A wonderful new program in partnership with Virginia Public Media called Creative Corner provides a weekly 30-minute televised art program to children who are isolating at home without the benefit of internet. The episodes include teacher's notes to address SOLs and use easy-to-access supplies found in most homes.
The Creative Corner is a 30-minute public television program that's designed for learners starting in 4th grade and going all the way up through lifelong learners. So it brings experiences in both art making with hands-on art projects and in cultural connections with artists and creators from all around the world sharing music and dance and theater and visual art and all sorts of aspects of creativity and culture from around the world. So it brings lots of different aspects of things that we at Art for the Journey love and that we feel bring well-being and education.
We have the privilege of going to Anna Julia Cooper Episcopal School in the East End. It's a private faith-based school that provides scholarships for students of limited economic means. And we are their art program. So we get to bring not only the well-being aspects of art to these kids that really need it, but we also get to bring a robust art program equal to any other school. So we seek to create a space for them that is safe and inspiring and helps them connect to themselves, to each other, and to the world around them. The Carmel School up in Ruther Glen, Caroline County, has invited us to provide recreational art for their students, grade 6 and up through 12th grade. And so we create a space. We call it Art Club. The students can come and just relax and turn off their devices and just create what they would like to create. They're often very taxed and often very stressed, and so giving them a space to just be kids and to just explore their creative side is the reason we're there.
Art for the Journey's newest program is one that reaches veterans who are living with service-related disabilities and PTSD. Through a partnership with the Hunter Holmes McGuire Veterans Hospital in Richmond, the Veterans Art Program engages up to 20 men and women in each month and can reach up to 80 veterans each year.
Well, I had an experience with one of the veterans. Really didn't know her background. Seemed to be a very nice lady. I don't know where she had served or anything. And I worked with her using that shaving cream technique and food coloring. And when we went through the process and finally came to the end, she had this beautiful sort of greenish, yellowish background, but in one part of it was this white space that really looked like a lily to me in a pond. And she was so excited that it was really wonderful.
Volunteers are the greatest asset of Art for the Journey. Their hours of dedication make our programs possible and, as well, provides a benefit back to them through a sense of connectedness and witnessing the positive impact these programs have on others. A key volunteer partnership is with the VCU's Aspire program, where students make community engagement a part of their educational experience. Over 15 students work with Art for the Journey's weekly Opening Minds Through Art program.
Well, I got involved with Art for the Journey 3 or 4 years ago. As the director of Aspire, I work with upperclassmen students at Virginia Commonwealth University, and it's a community engagement program. So these are students, all different majors, who want to give back. And so we have partners like Art for the Journey where our students volunteer to serve. I think the most rewarding thing about our partnership with Art for the Journey is seeing how the college students at VCU in our program learn about themselves and develop relationships with the seniors. I think many of them come into this unsure of what it will be. You know, maybe they have their grandparents who they're close to, but most of them do not have a lot of intergenerational relationships. And so to talk with someone who has lived through so much and find out you have the same interest and that you can make a difference. And many of our students are pre-med. And so the idea of working with someone who is also going through a health issue and going through dementia, I think helps our students figure out what it means to be a doctor, a medical professional who has empathy, who cares about the person, and also will want to know, how can I treat this person and whatever it is they're dealing with to help them be healthy.
Art for the Journey became one of our most popular activities, and so much so that we generally have a waiting list of students who want to volunteer with the program. So I was just totally surprised about how the students loved Art for the Journey. As a volunteer myself with Opening Minds Through Art, you get just as much as you give. I feel like I've been transformed through volunteering with the program and how I see people living with dementia, how I see art, my appreciation for art, that I have come to realize that I'm an artist. I never considered myself to be one, but through Art for the Journey, I've been supported in that way. So I think everyone has a chance to succeed with the program and to feel good. The program will take you to your happy place.
Volunteers are the greatest asset of Art for the Journey. Their hours of dedication make our programs possible and, as well, provides a benefit back to them through a sense of connectedness and witnessing the positive impact these programs have on others.
Art for the Journey is just incredibly fortunate to have an amazing group of volunteers. We have just been able to attract the most generous, compassionate, caring people that, quite honestly, I had never experienced just the numbers of folks who want to give back until I became part of Art for the Journey.
I think art is one of the great healers and the great gifts, because I think it's innate in our DNA. I've seen the cave drawings in Spain and France that are 40,000 years old, and they're still there. So it is as important to the human soul as it is eating, as I believe music is. I mean, and when people are creating, they're in their own special zone. If you're really in that zone, time disappears, your problems disappear. I mean, for myself personally, it's been very healing.
Art for the Journey really impressed me when the diversity of the programs. You know, when you have a soup kitchen, it's feeding. When you have a shelter, it's housing. When you have physical therapy, that's exactly what it is. But Art for the Journey has these programs that just filtrate through every population, every income level, every need of us here in the U.S. and here in Richmond, from children in school to after-school programs for those that live in poverty, to those that are elderly with mental health issues through the OMA program, our veterans program. It's always open to welcoming our populations, different populations in, and I was so impressed with that because of the diversity of Art for the Journey.
I believe that art is a great equalizer. It has the ability to allow people to connect across the boundaries of age. Different generations can participate separately or together. You can do it no matter what your socioeconomic status or your background or your cultural influences are. Everyone can find some inroad to participate in something creative. It gives everybody the chance to experience some free choice and some creative expression, and it's at least the way that Art for the Journey does it, failure-free. So our programs are all designed so that whoever is participating feels like they've succeeded and created something interesting. So you don't necessarily have to create the world's greatest painting when you come to a program with Art for the Journey. If you do, that's fantastic. But if you have an enjoyable experience and you have, say, an hour or 2 hours where you forget about everything that's on your mind outside of that art project and that experience and that community that you're building as you're experiencing that art making, then we've succeeded, and then you feel successful and you walk away from that experience feeling really good and feeling proud of something that you've made.
We are extremely fortunate to have some amazing personalities associated with us. And these are people who were attracted to art making, were attracted to this mission, and we're really a part of crafting the mission and our programming.
All of Art for the Journey's programs involve a collaboration with other organizations and institutions. Together, they are helping vulnerable people and populations draw new images of their lives, images of hope, joy, and even healing. For more information, visit artforthejourney.org.